Alright everyone, game number 2 of Haypro versus Nestea. Haypro has chosen MLG Metalopolis for this game. I am Shaetan bringing you all of the action, and we see the players are actually spawning cross-map on this map. We have Nestea in the bottom as the blue Zerg, and Haypro in red as the, or Haypro at the top as the red Zerg. Now, interestingly, they are farther apart, which makes a macro game on this map actually a little bit less likely, because right now, if they were in close air positions, their overlords would basically be crossing. They would know exactly where they were, and they would basically be able to see exactly what their opponent is doing. And that means that if your opponent goes for, say, a 13 pool, you can drone up, get one extra drone, and go for a 14 pool, and have that slight economic edge while still holding off exactly whatever your opponent is planning. So if you normally what happens in close air positions is you see both players go for a 15 hatch, and then they'll drone up a little bit and actually go up to maybe 17 or even 18 pool. And a lot of times you can even get up in really weird situations where neither player wants to be the first one to make the pool, so you can even have a double expand before pool. I don't know if that's just me on the ladder, but it makes for some interesting games. But we do see both players, neither of them has taken the gas yet at 14. So, probably going to be seeing an expansion from both of them coming fairly soon, and we do see both players are up to 15, so it looks like they're both going to be going for that 15 hatch. We'll see what they do afterwards. Strong speedling pressure off of 2 hatch with 16, 17 drones is always a concern. So I wouldn't be surprised to see both players get a baneling nest just as a safety measure after this. But we'll see. Both of them are actually droning up even after this, going up to 16 drones before dropping the spawning pool. We'll see if they go right away for the spawning pool or if they go for gas afterwards. And it's interesting because neither player knows what their opponent is doing. They don't know what they're doing. There could be a 10 pool on the way for both of these players, and there really isn't anything that they would be able to do to be aware of that. But we see both players are getting the spawning pools right away, and they're actually getting the gases a couple supply after that. So both players are really mirroring each other almost perfectly, so we're going to just see where the first deviation takes place here. I would be surprised, though, if we saw if we didn't see both players get the baneling nest just as a safety measure, because like I mentioned, if you just start swarming in speedlings, maybe get in 2 rounds of injects, maybe even 3 rounds of injects worth of speedlings, without banelings it's going to be very, very hard to hold it off, because you're not going to have the larva banked up really to deal with that. So we see queens starting up for both players. They're even on supplies. We'll see both. Are they going to get 2 queens? Well, it looks like 1 queen, 2 queens for Nestea, 2 queens for Haypro. So both players, again, still mirroring each other. One thing that I've always picked up that's nice, you can do it, a little bit of a positional imbalance here, but Nestea, if he wanted to, could put an overlord behind the natural base, and he can sort of keep account on how many drones there are at the natural base. So if you don't see very many drones there, then you can be like, well, where are those larvae going? They obviously have to be going into units, and then you can prepare for some type of aggression from your opponent. But unfortunately, Haypro doesn't really have that option. There's nowhere he can position the overlord without it being in range of a queen. We do see a couple of drones coming out for Nestea. Both players are just mining their gas. They're both getting Zergling speed, and we see that Nestea is actually opting for the quick Roach Warren. So a bit of an interesting choice here. You can still do a lot of damage with Baneling, just because the Roaches are always going to have to be somewhat near this ramp just to deal with speedling run-bys, and the natural is very, very wide, so there's a lot of surface area that you have to deal with if you want to defend yourself from Baneling. So a Queen wouldn't be able to do anything really against this counterattack, so you'd need to have a couple Roaches over here maybe as well. We do see that Haypro is going for the baneling nest, and he has the spine crawler up right here, so he's worried about banelings from Nestea. And we see in terms of scouting, there really isn't that much from either player. In this early stage of ZvZ, you can oftentimes get away with a bit of scouting. We'll see right here that Nestea is trying to do so. He's going to go in, and this is... Oh, nice catch there by Haypro. But you can almost always, if you send in 2 lings, you can usually get one of them into the base, especially before banelings are out and roaches are out. There's just no way that equal speed units are going to be able to do that much. We do see that Haypro is moving out with, about 10 lings right now, but these 5 roaches are going to be out, so it doesn't look like there will be that much damage done. In terms of drones, we can see that they just are even right now, and the roaches just got out. They might be able to get this queen, which is going to be important, because that's 1 less inject cycle that Nestea is going to have, and we see that Haypro is also going to get a very, very nice scout of everything. He's kind of going into the, ooh, nice move right there. We'll see if Nestea catches that there's still 2 lings in the base, and it doesn't look like he is. Ooh, that could be bad, especially because look at how far away the queen and the roaches are. We'll see if these banelings can do a lot of damage. There are a lot of drones here. We'll see how much they do. In terms of drones, Haypro is actually up by 3, and we see the Nestea is a little bit slow to respond. He isn't pulling any of them away, and they're just going to take out, wow, it looks like 4 drones were killed for Haypro, so he's actually only up by 1 right now. Funny how good Nestea is at droning up. But we do see that Haypro is taking the fairly early lair compared to his opponent, but he's only on the 3 gases. We do see him taking up a bunch of spine cars, so maybe early Mutalisk, and we do see the Spire is going up. You need these spine crawlers just to be able to deal with any sort of roach timing push from your opponent. But we see that Nestea instead has opted to take a very, very fast 3rd base compared to his opponent, and so he's going to be just content to macro up, and it looks like he's getting the Evo Chamber, staying on hatchery tech, so probably going to be focusing mainly on the roaches and just trying to bolster his army that way. We do see a bit of a speedling counterattack into the 3rd base from Haypro. He is going to be driven away by these speedlings, and the roaches are going to come in to be able to clean it up. He's not really going to be able to do any damage there, but it's good that he knows that this is coming, and we see Haypro is actually now up to 42 drones. He's up about 7 compared to his opponent, and he's still behind on supply though, and that's because of the supply inefficient roaches. Look, the roaches are 2 supply each, and so right now Haypro is down by about 15, 16 supply, but what he wants to do is he just wants to bank up as much gas as he can, so that when this fire pops, he can get out a shit ton of Mutalisks. So we see right here, he's probably going to have enough for maybe 7 Mutalisks when it comes out, and that's a good amount to have. We do see a bit of a speedling counterattack from from Nestea going in, and also note this Overlord positioning. So Haypro basically knew that attack was coming because he had this Overlord over here, and once these Mutalisks come out, and there's 7 of them on the way, Nestea won't have that same vision because he won't be able, because the Overlords are all going to get killed by the Mutalisks. And we do see that there's about 11 roaches coming up from Nestea. They're not going to have any sort of upgrades when they hit. And we see that he revealed the Mutalisks, I think. Where are they? No, he didn't. How did he know? So Nestea has dropped the Hydralisk then, so he's going to be... He's probably going to take some damage from this just because he doesn't have any sort of spore crawlers, and we see now the Mutalisks are revealed. There's still really no response from Nestea. I think he's just going to rely on doing some damage to keep the Mutalisks back home while he can. We see that there's a counterattack on the 3rd, an attack on the 3rd from Nestea. He might be able to actually take out this hatchery. We'll see. Where are those, it looks like Nestea, oh! Haypro's just going in for a counter at the 30. He's probably going to be able to take it out, but at the same time, no, it looks like Haypro's actually able to hold this off. Maybe these Zerglings, are they going to be able to take it out? It looks like they are. Wow, very, very close. It looks like there's 1 Zergling left, and we do see that Haypro got distracted a little bit, did a move instead of, like, focus firing anything, so he wasn't able to take this out. And all of that actually puts Nestea in a very, very comfortable situation because he has his 3rd base up, Haypro does not. He has Hydras out. His opponent does have Mutalisks, but he has 12 of them, and Nestea is going to have 6. He's going to have 8 Mutalisks, as well as the 3 queens he has and a couple of spine crawlers. Is going to be good for him, and we see that these Mutalisks are actually going to take a little bit of damage from these Hydralisks. Unfortunately, Haypro is going to be able to kill all of them. He did lose about half of his Mutalisks, no, about a 3rd of his Mutalisks. So that's the problem with Mutalisk engagements against Hydras. You need to make sure that you have the right amount of Hydras, otherwise you're going to just lose all your Hydras to the Mutalisk because of the Glaive Worm damage. We do see a tiny, tiny counterattack from Nestea. He's able to take out a few drones. We see that the drones killed count is about the same. In terms of drones, they're also about the same, but the thing is that Nestea has this 3rd base up, so he has 3 hatches worth of production, 3 hatches worth of income, and you can see the difference right there when he's up about 200, 300 minerals and 100 gas compared to his opponent. So we'll see how Haypro decides to deal with this Hydra Roach composition, mainly Hydra right now. Something that we saw in the, I think it was Idra Leenock games, was Leenock would go for speed banelings just because of how effective they can be versus the Hydralisks if they connect. And one thing to note is that look at how bad Nestea's vision is right now. He only has this Overlord right here because the Mutalisks are just able to take all of them out versus Haypro has much better vision. But we do see Mutalisks trying to do some harass, driven away by the Hydras, and we do see that Haypro is getting centrifugal hooks for his banelings, so he's going to go for a roach bling army, a muta bling army, basically because it doesn't look like Nestea is going to have infestors out very, very soon. He does have the infestation pit down, so that means that these mutalisks are going to be able to do a lot of damage as long as there aren't hydras there. And hydras are light units, it says right here. So that means that the banelings are going to do, I believe, 80 damage to them, which is almost all of their health. All of their health without upgrades. So that means that assuming he can get those banelings to connect, he's going to be able to take out the Hydra Ball very, very easily, and then the mutas can basically clean up everything else. We do see a scouting mutalisk right there. So Nestea is up, Haypro is up to about 19 mutalisks right now. He's getting +1 melee attack, and his centrifugal hooks is almost done. He should start morphing these into banelings, and we do see that there are 25 banelings on the way. I don't know. Honestly, I'm a little bit concerned that Nestea hasn't been scouting more. He doesn't really know all that much is going on. Maybe getting the pneumatized carapace and doing a bit of scouting would be beneficial. We do see a couple of roaches out with another 10 on the way, but these 22 roaches and 16 hydras, I don't know how this is going to play out. It's all going to depend on whether these banelings can connect. So he's going to want to do some trapping with the zerglings to try and prevent the hydras from running away. And now Haypro is moving in. We'll see if he can engage. The zerglings are going in, and they do. Ooh, just real. Ouch. Nestea, just really, really bad micro from him there. All of his hydras are dead, and now Nestea just has, or Haypro just has 16 mutalisks just wrecking havoc in Haypro's base, and he even has a couple of zerglings left. So really now it's just all of these roaches is really Nestea's last chance to do any sort of lasting damage, and we see he's going for the counterattack into the third base. It is fairly undefended, but there's 30 +1 lings that are going to be out compared, but they will be going against the +2 roaches, so we'll see how it works out. The third base is cleaned up for Nestea, and now we have Haypro on 4 bases, and even if he does take out this third base, which it doesn't look like he is because he's engaging the zerglings, Haypro does have this 4th base up right here, so right now Nestea is down about 40 supply, he's down about 20 harvesters, and I just don't see this attack doing enough damage, especially Haypro even pulls the drone smartly, so these roaches are just going to get cleaned up by the mutalisks. A couple of them do escape with their lives, but it's just a really, really bad situation right now for Nestea. We see that he is getting an infestor. He does have pathogen glands, but okay, so he's going to have 4 infestors out. So if he can land some money fungals, like he'll pretty much need to hit every single mutalisk and chain fungal them 4 times, then it's possible that he can come back. But right now, that is his only anti-air. He has 3 hydralisks. We see Haypro floating around, just sort of trying to see what he can, like, find out what his opponent is doing. He sees no third hatchery, and interesting to note, look, he's scouting with 1 mutalisk, because there are hydras, so the hydras will be able to take it out, but if all your opponent has for anti-air are infestors, what are you going to do if you see one mutalisk flying above you? Are you going to fungal it? That's such a waste of energy. Are you going to throw down infested Terrans? Like, it's so cost ineffective for infestors to kill single mutalisks. So if you do some sort of really nice splitting from your mutalisks, you can just get a lot of value for them. They can do a little bit of damage. If there's no anti-air, they can even like pick off infestors if your opponent doesn't handle it right. But Nestea, he's too good for that. He's using his queens and a couple of hydras for anti-air, and we see that he's actually making more and more queens. Interesting. So queens are a good response against mutalisks if you can get them in large numbers, because they have a range of 9, so they can actually hit the mutalisk farther away than the mutalisk can hit them. So if you fungal them, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage. But we do see that Nestea has not taken this third base yet, so he's just gearing up for one last push. He's going to max up as much as he can, probably get maybe 160, 170, and then go for one final push, see how much damage he can do. You can see that he's spreading creep. He's going to have a lot of transfuse energy saved up and just go for one last push to try and end the game, and then if that doesn't work, he's going to have to tap out. We do see banelings coming from Haypro. He's getting a couple of sign callers a little bit late. He should have gotten those earlier when he saw that there was no third base for his opponent. And we see Nestea. Does he know about the bottom base? He doesn't. Interesting, because he saw some drones go up there, so he's going to go up into the third base. He gives the spine crawlers just enough time to engage, and we see that the infestors are actually launching out some infested Terrans, but we do see the banelings go in. They're going, oh my god! That was ridiculous. The banelings did so much damage. The +2 banelings basically took out the entire roach ball. Nestea down to 90 supply. He's making 9 roaches. He really has no income, so to speak, of about half of his opponent, and he's going to have to tap out right now. His opponent basically has double his supply. He's almost remaxed, and now all he has are these slow queens, which are just going to die to the lings. He is going to be able to take out a couple of the mutas, and Nestea GG's. Haypro ties up the series 1-1.